Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video. Today what I want to do is provide you with 5 tips that you need to take note of before your very first mission in Tom Clancy's The Division 2. So lately The Division 2 has been on sale on multiple platforms, and naturally a lot of people have seen this as an opportunity to join the game. So I'm guessing that if you're watching this video, you are most likely new to the game and you want to know exactly what you're getting into and what you need to do. So stay tuned, kick back, relax, and we'll walk through these different tips to help you gain the most advantage as you're playing through Tom Clancy's The Division 2. So once you get into the game, you're going to start from an area where you make a progression through some bay, and then eventually they ship you to Washington, D.C., and then you start trying to make your way to the White House. Now, initially, once you start, you're going to see a lot of hints that are actually being presented to you. One of the really cool things about The Division in its current state is that the developers have been able to update its UI and make it a lot more interactive and more user-friendly. So the first tip is that you need to go ahead and read every single thing about the UI. Now, if you've never played a Division game before and you feel like this is something that might be a quick or easy learning curve for you, then it might not be necessary, but there are a lot of hidden gems in the new interface that actually teaches you and gives you a little bit more detail about the specific aspects of the game that are in terms of maybe cover-based shooting strategy. But initially, some of the pointers that you're going to be getting are going to be helpful, and what you want to take your time to do is actually expand on them and read about them on the right side of the page. It will also provide other topics for you, which if you want, you can read or you can skip and move along, but eventually those topics are going to come up and the game is going to be explaining those to you. Now, it may seem without question that people would normally read these things, but trust me, as a gamer, I know that it's very difficult to take out the time to read, especially when you're excited to play the game. But usually these small snippets are going to provide for you very good information that you can take along the game, because once you get it, then you don't need to know it anymore. It's something that you can keep along the game because you're looking at a 100-hour journey, and this is something that will probably be helpful for you. The second thing to do before your very first mission is to go ahead and loot everything. You're going to find loot in every single area that you look. If you look at backpacks, if you look at chests, if you turn the corners, if you look into the alleys, you're going to see aspects of loot that come in different forms. For now, we're not going to be looking at all the different kinds of loot. We'll probably do that in a future video. But the very first thing that I want to say is make sure that you loot everything. If you walk to something that can be looted, there'll be an indicator that says loot. Go ahead and loot it all, whether it be gear, whether it be resources, whether it be anything. Take it all up for yourself. The reason is because if it's resources, you can use these later in your progression in the game, or if it's gear or weapons, you can use them as you're playing through the game, and when you're done using them, you can trade them for some kind of currency in terms of in-game economy. So this is something that you're making a practice of doing in order for you to be able to just kind of get used to it. You're running around the corner, you got to learn how to do that quick looting and keep moving on your way. So this is something that's definitely going to help you. Plus, before you actually go to your first mission, if you run around a little bit in the area that's around maybe the theater settlement, which is the next place that you go after the White House, you're going to find some chests around there that can provide you some better gear and some better weapons. This is going to definitely help you as you make your way into the mission in order for you to be able to clear it fast and be able to be at a better advantage than the enemy NPCs that you're going to encounter. So this is the advantage of doing so. So make sure that you're looking around and picking up every single thing that you can find as you make your way to your first mission. The third thing seems like a no-brainer, but a lot of people ignore this very well. One of the things about Tom Clancy's The Division 2 is if you look everywhere, you will find something. I mean, if you look up, down, left, right, underground, there's something for you to be able to loot. If you check every nook, every cranny, and every crevice, there's something for you to pick up. So my third tip for you is that you make sure that you're carefully traversing and searching everywhere. Not only are you going to find items, a lot of the items that you're going to find usually reset around the open world. So once you're able to find and figure out where things are in terms of maybe loot, maybe resources, maybe specific kind of loot that actually comes from specific places. Example, the orange caches that are actually hanging around the open world, these caches are known to provide you with maybe mods and gear. By the time you make your way around and you figure out where they actually are, you're in a better position to farm these specific items as you progress through the game. So looking around is not just for you to just go and be nosing all over the place, but actually learning what everything looks like and where specific things are. Another thing about looking around too will help you to learn the layout of Washington, D.C. and learn your map to understand how the streets and how the corners and how the alleys actually all work, this is going to provide you with a networking of how things are. Now, the DC map is not the most organized map in some specific areas, but in some aspects, you can eventually learn how the organization works, how the street levels work, and this is going to provide you in the future of your gameplay with some really good farming traversal in terms of how you're moving through the world. My fourth tip for those who are starting the game is to pick up every echo. Echoes are little clips that actually do play past events that have gone on in the open world. Another thing too is to make sure that you pick up other collectibles as well that actually show or provide for you details about the open world lore. So as you're collecting these collectibles, you're learning about the game, you're learning about events that have happened in the past or in the near future of the game, and this helps you provide and form a story as to what's going on. Now, that's just one aspect of collecting them, but the major aspect of collecting these is that you actually get XP, and as you gain XP, your progression is actually moving forward. So make sure that you're picking up these echoes, make sure you're picking up these collectibles, which are voice recordings, and they'll be granting you XP as you're progressing, and this is definitely going to be to your own advantage. And finally, before you go on your first mission, while you are still at the theater settlement, deploy the 2 ropes. There are 2 ropes that are actually based on the rooftop of this settlement, and one of the really cool things that you can do for yourself, trust me, this is an investment for your entire playthrough, is that you deploy these 2 ropes. Go close to them. There's going to be an indicator that gives you whatever command prompt, depending on what game platform you're playing on, that says deploy. Go ahead and deploy the ropes. You can use them to grapple your way down or climb all the way up to the rooftop of the settlement, and I can guarantee you when you fast travel to this place and it's time for you to actually maybe run your way down to a mission, it's always nice to have them just waiting for you. So these 5 tips are going to definitely get you started before you even meet any of the bosses, before you actually start discussing with the NPCs. I believe that these tips are going to get you through the game and are going to be very helpful for you. Now, your very first mission is going to be Grand Washington Hotel, so do these things before you actually get into that, and you'll be able to figure out a lot more other things that are going on, but I think these are definitely helpful for those who are beginning the game. So that's all I have for today. Thank you very much for your time and audience. If you are a veteran and there's anything that you feel like can be done, make sure you leave that in the comment section for the newbies. Thank you once again for your time and audience, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.